Hello everyone, my name is Evelin Lindner. I'm the founding president of the Human Dignity and Humiliation Studies Network and one of the initiators of the World Dignity University Initiative. I would like to draw your attention to one of the fields I'm interested in. I read the title to you. It is The Role of Dignity and Humiliation for Trauma Therapy. When you read the diagnosis of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, then you read that the following conditions must be there either together or one of them: a serious threat or harm to one's life or physical integrity, a threat or harm to one's children, spouse or close relative, a sudden destruction of one's home or community, then seeing another person injured or killed as a result of accident or physical violence, learning about serious threat to a relative or a close friend being kidnapped, tortured or killed. Then stressor is experienced with intense fear, terror and helplessness. And now comes the last point. Stressor and disorder is considered to be more serious and will last longer when the stressor is of human design. So this says if you are stressed or have stressful experiences in a context of an earthquake that is not by human design, then the level of stress will be less than if it is in the context of a terror attack, for example, that is by human design. So how come that the human design makes it so much more stressful and hurtful and painful? How come? So I wrote an article titled Humiliation, Trauma That Has Been Overlooked, an analysis based on fieldwork in Germany, Rwanda, Burundi and Somalia, and it came out in 2001 in Traumatology. And the full text of this article is on the website. I would like to read briefly to you this, the abstract or the introduction. What differentiates trauma from humiliation? This is one of the questions this article tries to answer. Trauma may occur without humiliation, as in the case of natural disaster. However, humiliation may be the core agent of trauma. Furthermore, this paper suggests that the role and significance of humiliation for traumatic experiences has long been overlooked by researchers and practitioners. The paper highlights the macro historical backdrop for this neglect. It is the unfolding of human rights as opposed to more traditional honor codes at all levels of society, both national and international. This change is a major force in making the category of trauma increasingly important and in moving such practices as, for example, the breaking the will of the child. You remember this was pedagogy still 100 years ago. Such practices, which were once legitimate and even prescribed, they are now moved into the category of trauma. You know, we move from calling violence in the family domestic chastisement, as it was called once. We call it now domestic violence. So we are in a zeitgeist shift time. The paper also addresses the fact that social science is part of this transition and would benefit from making more visible how it is deeply interlinked with this process. So to contextualize social science, this is one of the aims of this paper. I'm so glad that I can explain this to you, and I would be very happy to hear from you and to hear your reflections and your insights in how the link, for example, also between betrayal and trauma. What is betrayal, trauma, the role of dignity and humiliation for trauma? I thank you very much for your interest.